Let's start in an empty Unity project. Copy the Neuro package GitHub URL from the Getting Started documentation page. In Unity's Package Manager, select Add Package from Git URL and paste the URL from GitHub. Now you should have Neuro in your project. You can go to Tools, Neuro, Editor to open the main editor. Right now there is nothing yet. Let's get to the code. Let's say we are making an RTS game where we can build troops to fight. We'll make a new troop template class. We need to extend from referenceable so that it shows up in Neuro Editor. We'll also need to declare a unique global type ID, so Neuro can identify which referenceable is what type. Referenceables are like scriptable objects in Unity. Some pieces of data you can reference from other places, like linking a material from a renderer. For the first field, we'll just have the name field. For Neuro to serialize the field, you need to have the Neuro attribute with a tag number. Troops probably have health field too. The Neuro tag ID needs to be unique. Let's go back to Editor to see what we got. We now have the troop template as an option in Editor. Adding the first troop, you can see that there is a place for ref ID and ref name. These are the number and string keys. Neuro use this reference ID to reference the item from elsewhere. Let's add 3 troop types for now: ninja, samurai, and archer. These 3 troops are written to JSON file outside the Unity Assets folder. You can locate the file by pressing the File button. As you can see, the 3 files are in Neuro Data folder just outside the Assets folder. Back in the IDE, you can also see the generated code here. Let's add another field, speed, and check the generated code. As you can see, it automatically detects and adds the new code. Both reading and writing for JSON and binary go through this same generated code to function. Let's add more stuff to the troop template to complete the example. The troops probably have different attack types, so let's make a base class called Base Attack. We'll need a Neuro tag. Next we make a basic melee attack class. We need to have a class tag so Neuro can tell which subclass it is. It'll probably have range and damage amount fields. Next we'll make a ranged projectile attack class. This is probably a good place where we show you how to make references. We are going to make a new projectile type so that we can reuse it elsewhere, like maybe arrow tower and archer share the same arrow properties. We'll make a new projectile reference class. Need to give it a unique global ID again. Let's add some sample fields like speed. Back in ranged projectile attack class, we can now reference the projectile like this. We also need to add the list of base attack back in the troops. Let's go back to Editor to see how it's going. For ninjas, we will just have basic melee attack properties like so. For archer, we are going to have projectiles. Here, you see that it's a link to another table. We'll make a new projectile, name it arrow. Back in archer, we can now select arrow as the projectile choice. We hope it demonstrated how you can set up your template data. Now let's look at how to use it in code. Let's create a new mono behavior for UI and add it to the scene. We'll just use onGUI for simplicity of the demo. To get the troop table, we'll ask the Neuro data provider like this. We'll just create a new list of troops to use for now. We'll loop through the items, set up the text to say the troop name and their health, and show a button with that text. Let's run it to see how it is. The healths were not set up. Let's go and change it in Editor now to see it updated live. Let's create a class to hold your player state. For now, we only need to hold the amount of troops you own in a dictionary. Use reference of troop template as the key and the int number as value. There are many ways to save your player state, but Neuro comes with an easy option. Add local Neuro continuous save component to your game object. This component helps you load and save data from Unity's persisted data very fast, with minimal allocations. We'll ask the saves component to load the game save data. We will then loop through the owned troops and print out the amounts. We'll write a function to increment the number of troops. We'll then call that function when the user clicks the button. Let's see how that goes. There was no save call, so if you stop and start the session, the data is reset. Let's go and add the save call on TroopAdd function. That's better. The data is persisted between sessions. What about loading assets like prefabs and textures? For this example, let's just add an icon for the troop. Normally you would set the type to sprite here, but because Neuro is pure data, you need to use asset address type here. Optionally, you can say that it is a type of sprite to help editor filter things easier. Back in the editor, let's use a sample image, mark it as addressable. You can now link the image to the troop. For this example, we'll just load the sprites into a UI image. We'll expose the UI image field. We'll then expose the troop reference field. So you can choose which troop's image we want to show from Unity UI. At start, we'll just ask the icon to load, then assign the result to the image. Back in editor, we'll need to add a UI image. Hook it up to the image field and then choose which troop we want to use. Let's see how it plays. Okay, this demonstrates the basics of authoring some config data, getting the data at runtime, and storing some player states on device. And then also loading some assets. Since you are still here, let's now explore some advanced topics. Now that you have game data saved as binary, it is sometimes hard to debug the information. This is why we also have Content Debugger. Open the Content Debugger. For our case, we just want to use the persistent data drop-down. Make sure the name matches to the one you used for local continuous save. Make sure the type is correct and also the saved format. This is because the binary file does not contain the information about what type or format it is. Let's load it up. Now, you can just modify some numbers and save it up again. When you play the game again, you'll notice the numbers have changed. You can also use the delete button to clear out the saved data. Neuro Editor comes with a standard way to write content tests. You can find it at the bottom of the editor. The tests also show up in Unity's test runner. Let's say you want to write a validator to make sure all troops have at least 1 health. We'll make a new class inside editor folder and make it extend from iNeuro content validator with troop template as the generic param. Now you just need to fill in your assert to make sure the health is above 0. Back in the editor, if you go to the troop that has health 0, you'll see that the tests fail. Editor test runner will also fail here. You can just fix it in editor and you can see the test passes straight away. Here are some basic editor customizations. Setting the header, just like in Unity. Note that if you prefix with greater than sign, it'll make a foldout. You can do tooltips. You can also customize the drop-down display name like this. Back in the editor, let's have a look. Custom drop-down name, header text, foldout area, tooltip. Sometimes you might want more information when selecting the reference. You can do this by implementing Neuro drop-down customizable interface. For text, return the name if it exists. Otherwise, just return null for fallback to default behavior. For icon, you can return the icon field. Back in the editor, you can now see the name and icon in the drop-down. When the name doesn't exist, it still falls back to default format. Check out the example project as well. It includes examples closer to real-world use cases. It even includes example AI prompt to generate the content for the demo and write it back to data. Thank you for watching. Even if you don't end up using Neuro, I hope the toolsets you saw here gave you great inspirations to improve your existing toolset. Goodbye.